Hello, and welcome to another episode of Philo. That was Ian for a second. He was bringing me soda. I have a wonderful guest today, and I have a wonderful co-host, which I am going to introduce both. First, my co-host, which is Robin, which is for some reason tiny in the corner. There's Robin. And this is Robin Fisher. Robin Fisher is amazing. She used to do Onomatopoeia, which was Coast to Coast, and interviewed a lot of comic creators. And she really knows her stuff. And I love having her on the show because she always calls me out when I don't know what I'm talking about and keeps me honest. And then my guest today is Thomas Perkins. Thomas Perkins, I'm really excited to have today as my guest because he is an artist and a really talented artist and a fun guy who has a good sense of humor and good values and stuff like that. And he's worked on a lot of things I like. And I'm gonna name drop. You know, there's the Ben 10s and the Batmans and the Transformers and the Men in Blacks and Invincible, I think, is one of your more recent ones. And then there's Farzar, a personal favorite of mine.
And then some things.
Yeah, and then there's Scooby-Doo. And there's also I looked at your IMDb when I dropped it on. There's a film website that I post my little promos on, and and so because it's more filmy and stuff, I was like, this guy does this, and stuff. And so I was like, oh man, he's done way more than I knew, than I ever knew. No, it's not old. It's really prolific.
I've been very fortunate in my time.
Yes, and it's awesome. It's awesome, and I'm happy to have you on the show. As are Robin's frogs.
Awesome frogs that they are.
Yes, and so Kay says hi, and we are going to bring in some art. Where we left off in the story, I am not important. The art is important. And then we will bring up Thomas's page as well. And again, I will do this. Where we left off in the story, Philo was on the stand in Spader court. I believe this was where we left off. And I'll shrink it down so that the page fits on the screen. And so where we left off was with all of these little tentacle infected olive oil critters. And then we have magic mushroom powers healing Armand, because why not? And then olive oil's little tentacles, they have just birthed themselves. And so they are throwing up little inkies everywhere that makes it very slippery to get back. There's a standoff between Armand and Olive Oil's ink. Ink on ink battle ensues, but we see very little of it. And then Steamboat Willie brings a cease and desist from Escher Foundation for the use of Escher. They're back in Spader Court, but there's a point of order. Disney wants to control egregious use of the Escher Foundation's use of Steamboat Willie as spokesmouse. And so that's why we have Philo on the stand. So do you want to take first panel? Do you want me to take first panel?
I'm open to see what the first panel is.
Okay, I will do first panel then, and then you can do second panel, and we'll figure it out. And I will also put on some music so that it's not so lonely in here.
Yeah, that last one was a little too intense.
Yeah. What the last music that I had the last show?
No, the one that you were just playing just now, that was a bit.
Oh, well, that's the theme, but I let the theme go all the way through. And
okay, I haven't heard the ending of that theme yet.
Yeah, so usually I don't play the theme all the way through. Usually I'll go to our lounge music. But yeah, let's turn this off and start with our new layer. And so what happens? Talk to me. Kay, I know you're in chat because you said hi. Who else is in chat? I see 2 people are watching. Okay, so Philo explains his version of Steamboat Willie. The steamboat is going in all possible directions. That is what is happening.
Goodness gracious.
Okay. Philo explains his version. The babies explode. I think that's what happens next.
The babies explode.
I think that's panel 2.
Who's gonna draw the babies exploding?
I think that's panel 2. Is the babies explode?
All right. Where are these babies in context of Philo and his up on there in the witness stand?
Let's see. So let's see. Philo explains his version of Steamboat Willie. Yeah. Let's see. Steamboat Willie. Okay. Philo explains that his version of Steamboat Willie is the steamboat. Well, I'll just say his version of Steamboat Willie, and then I'll just draw. Philo explains his version of Steamboat Willie. I'll just say his version of Steamboat Willie, and then I'll do a pictogram of his description of his what Case said of the steamboat going in all different directions. That is a Steamboat Willie. Oh yeah, I finally finished organizing all of my brushes. I finally did it.
Hey, Magic Marmot.
Yes. My daughter just fell in the kitchen, so she's crying.
Oh no.
Don't worry, Daddy's with her.
Is there blood?
No, Daddy's with her. She's 5. She's okay.
That's my first question when little toddlers fall. Is there blood? And then they're all like, oh, blood! And they get all excited and totally forget they're in pain.
Let's see. I'm going to give him more Spider-Man eyes, I think, than Venom eyes. But I'm still going to give him a Venom mouth. Yeah. So you said you had to drive 4 hours today to pick up your computer.
Yeah, I was there and back in LA traffic along with all that goodness. So just anywhere in LA is a thing to behold.
Yeah, I don't miss that from California.
No.
Rob says, "Hi, Robin." Yeah. Where'd you have to go? Like Burbank?
Yeah. But I live a bit of a ways from Burbank, so even though it's not super far, through LA traffic, it ends up being far. Because then, that was the whole trip, including like getting stuff to take care of things and whatever. So it was a whole process.
In China, when you want to buy a computer, you have to go to like the area where they sell computers. So you go to like this special part of Hong Kong, and there's like this massive skyscraper with like 12 floors, and it's like all these tiny little storefronts that sell every kind of computer thing you could possibly imagine. And I bought my last laptop there, not the one I'm currently using, but my last one.
Thank you.
And it's super cheap because it's like all these people competing for all these people's money. So you can bargain and get the money down. So if you're one of those people that likes to like build computers, it's like heaven. Because it's like every little thing.
I got to get into that way of thinking, is to learn how to build computers. Because I tell you, it seems like it would be good to know how to build your own rig from the ground up.
Yeah.
I went to Micro Center and I said, build me a nice computer. These are my needs. And they did it for me.
Nice.
That,
That's
and
really cool.
That seemed to work. And I'm like, well, I do this and I do this and I run all these programs, and they built it in a way that I can expand bigger, but it stayed within my budget. And so, so they worked with me. It was really good. I'm not paid by them like it was good customer service. So.
Yeah, it's nice when you're not disappointed by something that you've done the research and you really want to invest in. Hey, I got this really cool fabric. I feel like I should make some kind of fairy costume with it. I don't know if you guys can see. It's like pale pink and iridescent. Oh yeah, that looks really cool, boys. It's like a organza. So it's like kind of see-through. I feel like, like a fairy costume or an elf costume or something. It's so pretty.
You know what? Princess hat.
No, not a hat.
No,
I'm making
like
a dress.
Like one of those ones that's
Whipples.
the cone.
Those, the cone with the
yeah.
When I was a preteen, not preteen. When I was like 15, I was really obsessed with the medieval times, and so for my grade 9 prom. I rented a medieval costume. It didn't have the hat, but it was like the lace-up bodice with the huge long belt sleeves that come all the way down to the... Yeah, and there was like a brocade. It was really pretty. But this fabric is nice. I don't usually go for synthetic polyester fabrics, but it's just, I guess the iridescentness of it is just so cool.
Oh, I missed my favorite brush.
What's your favorite brush?
So I have a variety of brush packs that I've purchased from True Grit Texture Supply for Clip Studio Paint, and then there are a variety of brushes that I've downloaded from the asset store. Right, where people have shared free brushes, or they have or it's been available for like a limited time or something like that. And anyway, so I downloaded and re-downloaded a bunch of brushes and reinstalled them, and I found my favorite brush again in the True Grit Texture Supply. Like as soon as I touched it, I was like, that's it. That's my brush. That's the one I missed, because I had renamed it when I found it originally. My favorite brush, and I forgot what it was originally called. And so I refound it.
Well, now you got to do like a word association, because as soon as you told me it was part of the True Grit pack, all I thought about was the movie with the second movie with Matt Damon and Haley Steinberg. Such a good movie, The Coen Brothers.
Yeah.
True Grit version of True Grit. That was a Coen Brothers movie, wasn't it?
True Grit?
Oh, I can't check because I don't have my other phone with me.
Oh no.
I mean, I know it was a remake of an old Western, but I can't remember. I want to say it was a Coen Brothers movie.
It was written by Elmore Leonard. I remembered that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. That must have been one of his really early books then, because they made the movie, I think, in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was, Ian really likes Elmore Leonard, and so he has a lot of his books.
He's a great writer. And the movies they've made of his books are pretty decent, too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's not so easy to capture a writer's voice. Like, one of my favorite writers when I was a teenager was Tom Robbins. And they've made even Cowgirls Get the Blues, and you can't capture his specific idiosyncratic voice that he has in his books on film. You just can't. But other authors, it's a bit easier, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just they tried to do that with Hunter S. Thompson too, and I feel like they focused on the drug stuff and not enough on the rumoration. You know, like especially in Fear and Loathing. There's a lot of drug stuff in Fear and Loathing, but as the book progresses, it's also just kind of like looking at life and like what does it all mean, and I feel like there's like one or two scenes of that in the movie, and then they just go back to the drug stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Well, didn't Hunter S. Thompson have a say in the movie? Like, it was Johnny Depp, his buddy, that was in it.
Yeah.
Thompson was still alive when it came out. I don't think he didn't say it was shit.
No, but I'm sure that there was a lot of I feel like there's a lot of producer interference in order to focus on that because drugs sell, you know, like sex sells.
So you found that the drugs were bad, but you didn't find like the underage sex in the movie that bad?
No, I mean the underage sex is also one of the things that they focused on, and less on like the rumoration and the philosophy and him going like, you know, there's like there's this one scene where he
I just think it's an acting tour de force, to be honest. And I thought I was really impressed with that movie. Who directed it? Was it Oliver Stone? I can't remember who directed that one too. I don't have my phone, so I'm like, where's my IMDb? If I leave this screen to go to another screen to look it up, I will disappear. So
we'll disappear. No, no, we'll lose Robin. I don't want to lose Robin. I like Robin. I want to keep
I just need
Robin
to know
around.
who directed Fear and Loathing, and what was the other question? Who directed the other movie?
Okay.
There was another question.
Well, I was just typing it in.
Oh yeah, who directed that Cones that I thought
Gilliam.
was Terry Gilliam did Fear and Loathing. Oh, of course. Yes. And then the other question was who directed. Oh, I just had it. It was on the tip of my tongue. It was the other movie. Thomas Perkins, you do not do drugs. What was the last movie we were talking about before Fear and Loathing?
True Grit.
You know,
True Grit, yes. Who directed True Grit? Who directed True Grit?
Okay.
The new one.
I don't recall, actually. I liked the movie. I saw it. I couldn't tell you who directed it.
Okay.
When I lack in drug use, I make up for in being too busy to watch a lot of stuff.
Okay, I'm asking the internet. Directed by Henry Hathaway.
I thought somebody famous did that True Grit movie. Oh well. I don't know who Henry Hathaway is. That's a new name for me. I probably know the movies he's done. But did I ever talk to you guys about that TV series, The English?
No, I'm sorry. That's the 1969 version. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, you were correct. It is a Coen Brothers movie.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my memory is going to shit. So like, I like to make sure I'm right sometimes. Did I ever tell you guys about The English? Did I ever tell you guys about The English? Did I ever tell you guys about The English?
What about The English?
God. So good. It was so good. It was so good.
What
so
English?
It's Emily Watson, and it's this Indian actor. Indian is in First Nations. I want to say his name is like Shay something. He was in Twilight. He was one of the wolf pack. And he's got like this really deep voice. He doesn't talk very much in the show. It's a TV series. I think it was like an HBO thing. And I think it was only about 4 or 5 episodes. It was really short. And so she's a British woman who comes to the American Old West to get revenge for the death of her son. And she ends up meeting up with this First Nations guy. Now, the First Nations guy was in the American military, and he was part of like the whole Custer thing. And he is now like out of the military. And it's interesting because, you know, he had a position of power before, and one of his old soldiers points out to him, "You're out. You're nothing now." And so he finds himself in a position where he's about to be killed. And she, fresh off the stagecoach, finds herself in a position where she's about to be killed. And everything kind of turns around for both of them, and they help each other out. And it's just like, the man that directed it, I can't remember if he's British or Australian, but it is visual poetry. Literal visual poetry. Like, there's a scene where the bad guys are beating the shit out of someone, and it's this giant, huge, expansive scene, and it's in a sunset. Do you just see them as shadows, as black shadows, and the horses, and then all this orange sky? Like, there was so many moments where it was just breathtakingly beautiful, and it's literally like another country director, and it's like his love letter to the American West, and it's like the story keeps you on your toes. It's amazing acting. There were funny moments. It was so good. Oh, the English.
What movie has surprising, amazing cinematography? Surprising, right? Nacho Libre. Like watching that movie, it's almost like it's a surprisingly well shot movie. Mm-hmm. Like you look at it and it's like it's shot like an art movie. And you know, I don't know
who did it? Who directed it? Who shot it? Okay. Who came? Because I know it's a Jack Black movie, but I don't think did he write it?
I want to say it's Judd Apatow.
No, I would have remembered if it was Apatow. Yeah, Jared it's Hess. The Napoleon Dynamite guy.
Okay, yeah, Jared Hess.
Yeah, because the guy that plays the sidekick in Nacho Libre, I think he's in Napoleon. Yeah, he's his best friend in Napoleon Dynamite.
He's Pedro, right?
Yeah, that's right, Pedro. Vote Pedro. Yeah, that was a pretty insane movie, that Napoleon Dynamite, how it became so popular.
I think it just spoke to people.
Yeah, no, I think it's excellent. But it's an unexpected success story, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
I would think so. It would not. It's quite the cult film.
Yeah.
It took me a while to see it. I didn't see it right away.
Yeah, I don't think I did either. But that was the era more of rentals versus streaming, right? So stuff wasn't as easily accessible as it is now.
Well, and
like you had to get out to the video store. You had to know somebody who had it.
I never finished American Pie. I saw
that's too bad. That's a good one.
Saw the part up to him having fun with the pie, and then I'm like, this movie's not for me, and turned it off. I didn't find it humorous. I was just like, nah. I had not laughed at that point at all, and I was just like, nah. But the thing is at the point that I was watching it, I was like 26. You know, I didn't see it when it first came out, so it's like I miss that high school.
Yeah, maybe if you were a juvenile.
Connection. Anyway, I'm gonna call this water, even though it doesn't really look like water. But we're gonna call it water. We'll do this. I don't know.
I just finished reading. Well, actually, did I tell you that I finished reading the Alison Bechdel book? I finished reading that.
No, I don't think you did tell me that you finished it.
Yeah, no, it was funny because okay, so you know, I obviously have comic nerd friends online on Facebook that I talk to quite a bit. And one of my friends made this excellent joke that really like it's to the core of everything I love about comics, where he pointed out that the last Joe Matt collection was called Spent, and the new Alison Bechdel collection about like Hera Dykes to watch out for characters and herself basically is also called Spent.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that the Joe Matt comic is about him editing porn and masturbating like incessantly.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I was like, that's really excellent that they're both called. And so it reminded me, you know, you never read the last Joe Matt issue, so I went and I got the graphic novel and I read like the last issue leading up to it, and then I read the final issue, and it left me how it always leaves me. I'd really love to talk about it with someone, but I don't have a lot of friends that read Joe Matt. Anyways. So then I read this, and this was so fantastic, but part of the problem with it is that it's all catching up with the Dykes to watch out for characters, and I love them so much. And it's like, she used to have a character named Mo, and she's basically done away with that character because Mo was a stand-in for her, and now it's her. She's there. It's Allison, the pseudo character in the comic. But I mean, like, it's so excellent. Like, I just love it. I always equated Dykes to watch out for as like a lesbian, for better or for worse. And it was wonderful catching up with these characters, seeing what they've been doing. And the saddest thing is it ends like it's taking part right around the election, and it ends like just before he's elected. And so you're just reading it going, oh God, you don't know how bad it's going to become. Oh God. But anyways.
So Rob says you have to know that American Pie resulted in some experimentation from the misspent youth.
Of course.
I shall not lower myself to cream pie jokes. Nope. And so we are on panel 3.
We should also mention that Kay was talking about earlier that she was an extra, and so she's on IMDb. She said she was one of 400 volunteers who got eaten by a huge vor monster. She said, I threw in the money and I got a role, but I was having too much fun biking around the day and I was never there. So she got an IMDb credit for something she didn't do. That's awesome.
I worked really hard for my IMDb credits, okay? I know Thomas did too. I'm just super stoked, and I know you guys all have one, but it was a major highlight of my freaking life, my life. When I got my ISBN number, and it's, you know, that Library of Congress, that was a big deal. I know I'm Canadian, but you know what? I was a nerd when I was in high school, and we got to go to Washington, D.C. My parents took us there for our long weekend, March break one year. Yeah. And my mom said to us, like, each of you can pick one place that we go. And I'm dumb. I really wish I kind of picked like one of the art galleries, because they have such huge, like, important pieces in them in the Washington, D.C. area. Yeah. But I picked going to the Library of Congress because I was like a huge book nerd. I just wanted to see where the books were. Thomas, we lost your screen.
Yeah, no, my computer nuked.
Okay, let me know when it's up again. Until then, we can work on panel 3. So let's see. It's a screenwriter cop-out. I'm in the IMDb. Let's see. But it's a lie. I threw in the money. Let's see. You have to know that American Pie resulted in some experimentation. We got your screen back. Yay!
Oh, look at that. Freaky.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Let's see. I shall not lower myself to cream pie jokes. Oh, I've got a few IMDb credits, says Rob. Even Star Trek 6. Robin was a nerd in high school as opposed to now.
Yeah. Big surprise. Yeah. I went to get some weed at my local dispensary, and he had a whole bunch of Funko Pops. And I was like, yeah, last Funko Pop I bought was this Thor because it was painted like Jack Kirby. And the guy was like, I don't know who Jack Kirby is. Meanwhile, he's got like all these Spider-Man and X-Men like he's just got like all these Marvel comic character Funko Pops everywhere. And I was like, okay, this is Jack Kirby. You need to know. And then, 20 minutes later, I should probably leave and catch my bus. I'm sorry.
Well, not to mention that, but like he probably like missed the tips of like 6 customers.
No, nobody was there.
Okay, so panel three. What happens in panel 3? Like, we have exploding babies, and Philo just explained that, like, a Steamboat Willie is a steamboat willing and doing a willy, and yes, and the Funko Pop knowledge of the Spider-Man is amazing. It is. But panel 3, I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to stay focused on the panel 3. Okay, so what happens? We got exploding babies.
So do they die now that they're like?
Or do they grow into more of them?
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe they're like.
I hate that. I hate that story arc because it'll never end. They'll just keep growing and growing. It's like that Samael character in Hellboy, the Hellboy movie. Keep growing and growing.
Yeah.
They'll never die.
Let's see. Okay, Rob says the Spaders are covered in exploding baby goo, and Judge Spader calls for order. So I love that. Okay, that's what happened.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to show you. Speaking of Spaders, so this was the last book I finished. It's the memoir of Andrew McCarthy, who when you read it, it's like he did like 2 movies. The way he talks about his career, and then he moved on to directing, and that's the end. He's a very what's the word? Unassuming kind of movie star. It was an interesting one. So now I'm reading this one, and I don't know if you guys know this guy. He's a Canadian icon, a Canadian gay icon.
His face looks familiar. What's he been in?
He used to have his own TV show where he would talk about Canada. He was very politically oriented, but he's a comedian as well. The most famous thing he did that you might know him for is Talking to Americans, where he would quiz them about Canadians and Canadian facts, and they were always really dumb about it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones was this one where he was like, "Congratulate Canada! They have 14 states now." And this woman was like, "Oh, congratulations!" And her son, who was like, I guess 10 or something, goes, "Wait a minute! Canada has provinces. It doesn't have states." We all thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a pretty clever dude.
Yeah, he seems like if he's doing that stunt, then he knows just how stupid Americans are because of the fault in our education system.
He got Bush, George W. The second one, not the first one. That's George W. Right?
Yeah,
he got George W. Bush to say that he was excited to work with the Prime Minister Putin. He just got him to yell. Like, Mercer was like in the press throng, and he was like, "How do you feel about working for Canadian Prime Minister Putin?" And at the time, it was actually a French-Canadian Prime Minister, Jean Chrétien. He was very French-Canadian, but he wasn't Putin. And Bush was like, "Oh, I can't wait to work with him." So he was a trickster. He's very much a trickster, but he's very intelligent. Like, he's not on the level of Tom Green, where Tom Green can be a little gross. Like, Mercer was quite cerebral, or is quite cerebral. He's very funny. He's very funny.
So he's like on the level of Jon Stewart.
Yeah, I'd say that. Like Stephen Colbert. Yeah, okay. For sure. Sure.
Okay. You're gonna enjoy that book then.
Oh yeah, of course. I already love him. And there's a Canadian singer we have over here called Jan Arden, and she's had like quite a few hits, and she's pretty funny, and she had her own TV show on CBC there for a while. And apparently they're very close friends. And so it's just always funny to see them, even if they're acting, they're hilarious together. So yeah, I don't know. He's from Newfoundland, and he got his start doing this like sort of Daily Show, Canadian version of the Daily Show called This Hour Has 22 Minutes. Mm-hmm. And there were 4 hosts, and he was one of 4 hosts. And they would make fun of Canadian politics, or they would do skits and stuff. And
I have seen him interviewed on The Daily Show. Yeah, I have seen him.
Oh, I don't know if he's been on The Daily Show. I'm going to look that up. I would like to see him. I'd like to see him.
He has. What's his name again?
Rick Mercer.
Rick Mercer, yes. Rick Mercer.
And he used to go across Canada and like discover really cool and neat things about stuff happening in Canada. One of my favorite episodes is there are people that do like a bear census. So they go around like to find the dens when they're hibernating and when the babies are born and the mothers are all hibernating and sleeping, and they count the amount of babies that are born and stuff. So he went along one time because he'll do that. He'll tag along to all these cool things. And he started trying to kidnap the baby grizzly bears. He's like putting them in his jacket. He's like, don't mind me. And they're all asleep and docile and cute.
No, I haven't seen him on The Daily Show, but they must have talked about a show on The Daily Show.
Well, this hour 22 minutes has been around for like, I want to say almost 20 years now.
Yeah,
really long time.
I remember they talked about the show, so yeah.
But I can't see him being on The Daily Show unless he has something to promote. And it's not like his show, it's a group show on CBC. So he wouldn't be promoting that show. He has his own show, though, the Rick Mercer Report. That was what he would do. Yeah. But he didn't need to promote it because everybody knew about it. And he would just be around Canada promoting it anyways because he would be interviewing people for the show. I wonder if Jon Stewart has been on his show.
I don't know.
But yeah, he's a funny guy. A very clever, funny guy. And, I got to say, I love a lot of our Canadian stand-up comics. Like, my all-time favorite stand-up comic is this guy, Glenn Wool. And he's Canadian. He used to live in the UK, but now he's back in Canada. Or maybe he's back in the UK. I don't know. He travels a lot. But yeah, I like and I find too, even like our politicians have a sense of humor. Like Trudeau showed up on the RuPaul Drag Race. I remember one time that on this hour test 22 minutes, they would make fun of the politicians, but the politicians would be there and they would make fun of themselves too, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like if you can't laugh at life, what can you laugh at? And the job of the jester is always to be the voice of the people to the king.
Yeah.
And not only that, but to always show the people that the king is listening in some way, and the jester is the only one really allowed to criticize the king, right?
He's like getting hopefully decapitated. Hopefully. Well,
there's been there was a book I read years and years and years ago about the history of jesters losing their lives because of things that they've said about royalty and stuff like that. Like, not just jesters, but, the court members and different vassals and stuff. And yeah, but the king isn't listening, says Rob. But the king isn't listening. For now. Okay, so we'll just make all this black, and then we'll have we'll do this. We'll make him smaller so I can fill in the gavel and more goo.
Yay, goo!
Yeah, we need goo. We need him upset about the goo. That's what we need. And then, I love your Philo venom is amazing, by the way.
It's very shiny. It makes me
my Photoshop is being really buggy right now. Like, none of my shortcut key commands are working. So I'll try to do something and Photoshop will be like, yeah, fuck you, buddy. You don't want to use your lasso tool or copy things or do anything. I'm like, God bless me. What's going on?
Well, you also said that you just upgraded to a new system today, right?
Well, I think that's my other work machine. This work machine is my old one, but it's just being a putz. Just being a putz.
I guess it's hard because it's like a new operating system that you've got to get used to, right?
No, not for this one. The other one just doesn't want to connect to the internet. This one is this one's just deciding to be persnickety today. It's like, nah, I know you're on camera, but nah. It's like, come on, buddy.
Anybody watch any good movies lately? I watched a Adam Sandler movie that I was surprised that I enjoyed.
What was that?
It's called Hustle. He plays like a basketball scout.
No, he got good reviews for that. Actually, for his role
I
in that.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it.
No,
I don't know why. I seem to lately like basketball stuff because there was this new Kate Hudson sitcom where she's like the head of a basketball team, and I really enjoyed that too. But I think that one's written by Mindy Kaling, and I pretty much like anything she does.
How full is your system's memory? Asked Kay. And then Rob says Gavel and Goo is the name for my new pub in the judicial neighborhood that's known for its goo.
I think the problem with my computer is I think my keyboard is.
I would have thought that Gavel and Goo would be the name for his new punk band. Are you watching, as in currently watching? It's gonna take what, 2 nights? How long is that movie, Oppenheimer? Like what, 4 hours long, that movie?
Let's see. Oh,
I have
it's
not
black.
seen it.
It's black goo, isn't it? Of them exploding, isn't it? Because it's all inky.
It could be, but right
Yeah.
now, here, give me a second. I'm gonna try and get some more batteries for my keyboard. See if that'll help.
You are welcome to do that. I will put myself in the main screen,
There you go.
and then that way you are welcome to head off. Yes. Let's see. How full is your system memory? That'll slow you down. Yes. Let's see. Story. Yeah, the around here it's been beautiful weather. Raining, but Ian and I love it.
I like the rain. Everybody always complains about it, but I'm like, it's springtime. It's supposed to rain.
Yeah.
I just don't like the mosquitoes.
We live in Denver. No mosquitoes. Love it. Well, there are, but not as much as other places because it is very dry and we live in the mountains. We live at an altitude where mosquitoes don't like it. Yeah, at Gavel and Goo, we discriminate our goo. We celebrate all the goo colors and flavors. In Minneapolis. Let's see. Ian, can you spray that spray?
Yes, of course. That's Bruce, by the way.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's goo ourselves up. Goo. I finished putting all my brushes away. I finished setting up Nakatomi Tower. Yay!
Oh, you got it all done.
Yeah, and that means I can start working on Captain T again because I know where all my brushes are. And that means that I can start doing streams and stuff with like drawing and stuff because I know where everything is. Yay! So I'm happy about that. I know it's a small a small win, but it's my win and I'm going to celebrate it.
No, you should be proud. It's so hard to finish things sometimes.
Well,
So
and
you got it done. You got it done.
Let's talk, open and honest for a second. We do that on this show. I had a depressive spell for a moment there, and I got back on my meds, and I'm good now, and that's much better and stuff. So the depressive spell kind of slowed things down in the world of yes, Thomas is having tech issues. He needed to go pick up batteries for his
Strangely enough,
Yeah.
I'm trying to eke out what I've got because it turns out my children magically have used all the batteries in the house.
Oh no!
They're clickers for their games and things. Today is just the best.
Did you steal them from their clickers and their games?
No, I rotated the batteries to try and get them to maybe get a better connection or whatever. I'm like, no, let's just see what we can do.
Oh no!
We're just doing our best here.
Okay, we're doing our best. Yes, but yes. So I had a depressive spell. I feel much better. And then it's hard to get stuff done for things when you have a depressive spell. But like I said, I am feeling much better. So yeah, so
I'm
that's
glad
it.
you were getting past
Your mental health is a priority, I think.
Yeah, it is. And here's the thing is I did not see myself sliding. Ian was the one that saw me sliding and was like, nah, this ain't good. We need to fix this. And he was the one that's like, okay, let's go to urgent care and get you back on your meds. And it wasn't that I was like, oh, I'm going to go off my meds. It's because I changed insurance companies and the old insurance company is like, oh, you're not with us anymore. No more meds. Right. And the new insurance company didn't set up an appointment until almost 2 months after I started insurance with them. And so I just simply ran out and I was trying to jump through the hoops the right way. And, yeah. No, didn't happen the right way. And so that's why I love Ian. And he takes care of me and makes sure that I do things like take my meds and eat. I have food here right now. Right now I have food.
It's good to have a proper partner.
Because he put it here and he's like, I want you to eat. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I haven't eaten yet. And I've been trying to take bites at it and stuff. And after Philo, I'm going to finish the meat. But before then, I'm going to draw. I hit, again, when you are in the cloud of depression, sometimes you do not realize that you are in the cloud of depression. And in my particular case, I was sleeping all day and not realizing that I was sleeping all day. And so that was my biggest withdrawal, was the sleeping all day. And so, I would get up and I would do the things I was obligated to do. I would go to work, I would do Philo, and, I would upload my promos and stuff. But, stuff was starting to slip. The house was a mess, I know the brain zaps that you're talking about. I have experienced those usually when I was ready to lay down and go to bed, and then I get that kind of zappy thing. But once I knew what it was, it didn't bother me anymore. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I think it's yes. Hello, Shock Attack. Hello. Yes, we are talking about SSRI withdrawal. We are. But like I said, back on my meds, feeling better. Things are good now. The world is much better. I feel better and I'm getting up and I'm doing stuff. My living room has had a pile of boxes for forever, but I have a notary coming over tomorrow, and I realized I didn't want my house to look like a mess. And so I was like, well, I'm going to clean it up. And I did. Even though it's been piled up for months, I cleaned it up today. And so that's a win. Yay!
Yay!
Every little step is a win.
Absolutely
Some days
win.
just doing something that feels insurmountable. So what are we thinking for panel, 4 or 5?
You are on panel 4.
Okay.
and we don't know yet. Let's figure it out.
Judge Spader is covered in muck, and
he's calling for order. Yeah.
calling for order.
And in fact, I'm gonna put like an order up here, but I haven't done it yet. And I'm gonna have a lot more muck on him. I'm just doing the base of it right now.
For sure.
So what happens after Judge Spader calls for order? What happens? Does
We have
Does
more
the
Disney
steamboat-
lore. We
does the
have-
steamboat fall out of Philo's word balloon?
Well, we never talked about the other characters in the Steamboat Billy cartoon. We could incorporate them.
We could. Well, Steamboat Willie is being used by the Escher Foundation. Yes, Steamboat Willie is being used by the Escher Foundation.
Everything goes silent.
Everything goes silent. Philo hops up and asks for a turkey sandwich. So, okay, he could ask for a turkey sandwich.
For Kay, why?
Yes,
Why is he asking for?
motivation for the turkey sandwich.
Because isn't he like part olive oil venom now? So he doesn't really eat.
They did feast. They did have like a big buffet feast that in toasting and the Argies. So I assume they ate. So I don't think he's hungry. I don't think he would have a turkey sandwich. So for that one, I am gonna.
Dude,
I see. Wah wah. So he orders a turkey sandwich. Okay, I get it now.
That's funny.
I get it now.
I didn't get it either. I have to be honest with you. Initially,
Yes.
I did not get it until he explained it.
Maybe if I give him a menu, because then he's ordering, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. Okay, so actually that's you, right? So
that's me.
so Philo hops up and orders a turkey sandwich, right? But yeah, he has to be holding a menu, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So that's your panel. Is he's
All
ordering
right.
a turkey sandwich. And let's see, we are gonna get rid of this, and then we are not quite done yet because I got all these fancy drippy brushes that I now know where they're at. Oh, I'm so excited. Look at my drips. Look at my drips.
Very British looking.
Yes. Let's see. Let us do this. Let us select all of this. And then, maybe. Let's see. Let's do this.
Oh,
And then, let's see. We'll select this. Oh, wait. I don't have to do that anymore. That's right. I don't have to do that anymore. Okay. Wait. You guys are going to love this. Okay. I have a new brush too that I can do this. I can do my drippies. Here, I don't want big drippies. I want little drippies. Okay, I'm gonna do my drippies, right? And then my new brush, okay, is erase along edge, and I have to go along here, and then I reference that, and then I go inside and I erase on the inside, and it won't erase on the outside. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's true. We did do the meow bit. Yeah.
So I got these stickers that are all like book stickers, and some are really cool, but a lot of them are like stupid Okay, you know those elf books that are all sexy and stuff that everyone talks about? You know those elf books?
Which ones?
They're by that woman, Sarah J. Maas. I think that's Maas.
Are those the like really detailed ones that they're like almost art books about elves?
No, there's no art in them at all. They're just like fictional, fantasy fiction and stuff. But anyways, so it's all like smutty book club and fated mates. But a bunch of them are, you had me at trigger warning and give me all the trigger warnings. And I love trigger warnings. And I'm like, what is that?
Huh.
I don't get it. This one's pretty Canadian. I thought it was kind of funny. I like men with big sticks.
You like men with big sticks?
I don't. I'm not into hockey, guys, but I just thought it was kind of funny that it was in my package of stickers about books.
So many to choose from up there.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
No, the Canadian that I was with when I lived in Canada was he was a curler.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so that was his.
You don't meet a lot of those.
Yeah, that was his sport of choice. Let's see. Old Groucho joke story-wise, this is an ADHD Escher wet dream, but we have no narrative. Maybe either Cthulhu Shroom or Chairman Mao show up. I prefer the Cthulhu Shroom. We already did Meowbit with a big cartoon safe. I know that was already read, but I'm just catching up. And so, let's see. I think that is pretty inky for that layer. Let's do our grays. And that will give Thomas time to draw. And so we'll do that. Yeah. Let's get back to my favorite eraser. I found my favorite eraser.
Hey, Bare Naked Ladies have a song about erasers.
I'm certain they have a song for just about anything you'd care to imagine.
They've got a kids album that's really awesome.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's got like a song about ninjas that I really like. What?
When did they come out with that?
Oh, a long time ago. At least 15. Yeah, at least 20 years ago now.
Crazy time.
Because I was doing daycare at the time, and that was a long time ago. But yeah, it's got some really. I think it's called Snack Time, if I remember correctly. But it's got some really great songs. Like one of my favorite is "Pollywog in a Bog," and it's like the history, like the life cycle of a frog, but it's like this cool reggae. And then they've got one called Eraser, where it's like Eraser. And then there's a good one about allergies. And then why is 7 afraid of 8? Cause 7. No, why is 8 afraid of 7? Cause 7 ain't 9. Yeah, something like silly jokes like that. Another really good song on there is where they do their version of the alphabet song, but it's all like words that have that sound different from the letter they start with. So, like for example, like psycho sounds like S, right? But it starts with a P. Or beryllium, but it starts with like a V. So it's a really cool. There's a lot of really good songs on that album. And then the ninja song goes the ninjas were deadly and violent. No, the ninjas were deadly and silent. They're also unspeakably violent. They speak Japanese, they do whatever they please, and when they come to your house, they'll be smiling. Oh no, when they take off their masks, they'll be smiling. It's been a while since I've seen or listened to it. With the ninjas. Yeah, that was a good one, the ninjas.
Who did the last Pirate of Saskatchewan?
I have no idea.
You never heard that song?
No. Is it like the Weaker Thans or something? Is it a Canadian band or is it an American band?
It's a Canadian band.
Propaganda.
The Arrogant Worms.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a throwback. Holy cow. Nobody talks about the Arrogant Worms anymore, but they're pretty good.
That sounds like something from back in the 80s.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s. They're like a novelty band. One of the guys in the Arrogant Worms actually was on that competition show Last Comic Standing, Sean Cullen.
Huh. Good for him. How'd he do?
I don't remember, actually. That was back when we watched television when it was on, not when we could watch it whenever we felt like it.
Yeah.
I want to say he got to like at least the last 6. But
yeah, I don't know. I just always like that song about the fact that they're like these pirates stealing grain from the co-ops along the Saskatchewan River. You know, it's this beautiful imagery. And, you know, it has this really funny music video. I don't know. I just always thought it was funny.
yeah, that was the whole point of them. They were like a novelty, funny kind of band. There were quite a few of them. Like one band I really liked that we don't talk about anymore either that was Canadian was this band Moxie Frugus. They did like a folk version of the Spider-Man theme song, but their big hit was a song called The King of Spain. But they had one song that I really liked. It was like, I like to go out dancing. My baby loves a bunch of authors. We've been living in hovels, spending all our money on brand new novels.
Nice.
Nice.
So yeah, we've had and then, you know, Kids in the Hall actually had like 3 or 4 hit singles too. They did like a fake Mitsu song that was really funny called they did I Don't Spread for No Roses, and then I forget what the next one was called, but it was like just all rhymed. It was like masturbation, Indian Nation, celebration, and dance. And it was like Bruce McCullough and drag. And then they did the Terrier song. Did you ever see that one? That was excellent.
Yes.
He's like, terriers are my favorite pets. And then he goes on about terriers. And then halfway through the song, he's like in the cemetery and there's like these girls in bikinis dancing. And he's like, yeah, goes up to them and he's like, I'm sorry, but there's like, there's no contact for you to be in this video. You have to leave. And they just stop dancing and walk away. And he was like, wow, that really hurt. And then there's the most famous one, These Are the Daves I Know, which is a really good one. So like, yeah, we've got a long history of Canadian comedy music.
I miss the Kids in the Hall. I enjoyed them quite a lot.
I do too, but I always find them in sneaky little places, so they always make me happy. Like even today I saw a new skit that I had never seen before, where so Scott Thompson leaves the house in this like really sort of baggy, flamboyant pants and these and this like, you know, velvet vest, and he's like leaving his house and this guy bikes by and goes, "Tag!" And he startled, so he goes back in the house, and then he comes up the next day and he's totally dressed like, you know, in a shirt and jeans, shirt and nice pants, like looking like a real businessy suity guy kind of guy, but not in a suit. He's like, okay, you know, and you can see in his head he's thinking, okay, I'm fine now, I look straight, right? And the guy goes by, "Fag!" again. So he's like, so he goes back into the house, comes back out the next day, he's like wearing like full leathers and jack boots and, you know, like motorcycle glasses, looking like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Guy bikes by, "Fag!" So then he like, next day, he doesn't come out at all. And the guy on the bike kind of stops in front of his house and is like, well, you know, thinking, you know, where is he? Like, where's it? All of a sudden, this bear comes out of nowhere, flashes the dude in the face. And Scott Thompson takes the bear head off, bear costume head off, and is just like, "Fag," and walks back into the house.
That's how
I can't believe I had never seen that one.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's doing a buddy tour right now, but it's in Toronto and I can't afford to go right now.
I am done with panel 3. That means I am on panel 5. 5. Yes, I'm on panel 5. We're on panel 5. Let's see. And now I have a bunch of friend requests from really attractive young ladies with really new accounts. I mean, I like the attention, but the eraser thing just has me ick, you know. Yes. So we are. What happens next after Philo orders a turkey sandwich in court? Because
Well, maybe if you looked up BNL instead of Bare Naked Ladies, it'd be less Bare Naked Ladies, an actual band. I don't know. Sorry about that. I didn't know. I didn't think that would be the outcome. But if you just go to their Wikipedia, you'll see the discography, and it'll show you what it's called. And then just look up
maybe you
snack.
can go
I think it's Snack Time,
fairly-
or maybe it's the Great Canadian Snack Time Trilogy or something. But I can't look, or my phone will crash, and I will be gone.
We can't have that.
Mm-mm.
I will be gone. Oh, Amber, you muffed his joke.
I'm up.
There was a joke. Oh no. Sorry.
It's supposed to be a joke. It's supposed to be a joke.
And we all took him so seriously. all of us, not just I
Oh
totally
no, I knew it was a joke.
Oh, I didn't.
I just read it very serious. But you know, sometimes it's fun to be the straight man. But yes, what happens? What happens in panel 5? We're on panel 5.
I feel like the kids in the hall should make an appearance.
The kids in the hall.
Yeah.
In Spader Court.
Yes.
They're the ones that bring order to Escher.
What are these nefarious Disney lawyers up to? Are they here?
Yes, because of Steamboat Willie, and I'm sure they want their ship back. We have no idea where their ship went, and it was left out of Bucky's. That's where the ship is. It was left out of Bucky's, and then yes, we also have there was ludicrous speed that they did not have access to. The Swedish chef is no longer captain of the buffet pirates because, of reasons. Bear costume guy, says Rob.
Yes. Scott Thompson in a bear costume.
Yes,
But
I guess bear
with
costume
the head
guy.
off, so it's just like Scott Thompson's little head, and
So
then a
he's
furry bear
delivering the
costume.
sandwich? What? Is that what's going on? So he just comes in with the sandwich? Like that's the next scene?
The wonderful absurdity of the Philo show.
So I think bear costume guy is the caption. I think that is the caption, is bear costume guy.
Then you'll have to deal with the Canadian lawyers. The Canadian lawyers.
Yeah, bear costume guy. And I'll put the Canadian lawyers in the background.
Dark romance book club, so cheesy.
Yeah, he leads the Canadian lawyers. Okay, so we're gonna have now I have to actually look this one up of Scott Thompson bear costume.
We have a Canadian animation studio that's quite famous called Nelvana.
You do.
If you need like an animation studio.
They do not have the particular skit of Scott Thompson in a bear costume, but I do have plenty of pictures of him. So I'll just say Scott Thompson, actor. And then that way I have his face and I can do like a really good angry.
I love Scott Thompson so much. I love Kids in the Hall so much. I used to like stay up late and watch it when I was in high school. I remember one time my mother watched it with me and she was like, "Why does it have to be so gay?" I was like, I don't know.
Because they're great. Because it's Pride Month.
I used to watch them a lot in college. I was a huge fan of those guys.
As silly as it is, like one of the only Pride shirts I have is from when I worked in the dispensary, and it's this little wild shirt, and so I wore it because it's the first week of Pride Month. So I, go Pride.
You Pride.
Mm-hmm.
I went and saw Vanessa Vanjie Mateo on Saturday for the inaugural Pride in St. Catherine.
Oh, the first one. Very nice.
No, like the inaugural day of the whole month of Pride.
Yeah, they're no longer kids in the hall. They're men in the hall now.
Yeah, that's true. They're old men in the hall. Old men in the hall.
Old men telling you to get the hell out of their hall or their yard.
My introduction to Dave Thomas was news radio. And,
yeah.
And so, I discovered Kids in the Hall later.
And that, by the way, that's not Dave Thomas. Dave Thomas is a Canadian. He's from SCTV. He did one of the Bob and Doug McKenzie guys. You're thinking about Dave Foley.
Oh, Dave Foley. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
I just really like Dave Foley. He's really great.
No, Dave Foley. You're right. But that was my first introduction to Dave Foley. And so he he was really funny on that show. And so I discovered Kids in the Hall in reruns in high school, well after the show was over. And oh my gosh, this is funny. At the same time I discovered Monty Python and Robin Williams stuff from the 80s and same thing with Steve Martin, who, by the way, when we were talking about comedy songs that went number one, King Tut was number one for 33 weeks in the 70s.
Oh.
So go Steve Martin.
Go Steve Martin.
Yeah. But yeah, at the same time that I was learning about all those comedians and stuff, I learned about Kids in the Hall, and I was like, where are these? Have these guys been? They're Canadian.
Well, for me, news radio was a big deal because Dave Foley was on an American show. We were so happy because after Kids in the Hall, I have definitely followed all their careers. Scott Thompson showed up on the Gary Shandling show. Mark McKinney got a gig on SNL very briefly. And Kevin McDonald did a voice on Invader Zim, is one of the tallest. He was doing tons of animation voice work.
Yeah.
So when Foley got news radio, it was this is awesome. So we would watch it trying.
Wait. It was Kevin in Lilo and Stitch, right?
Yeah, he was one of the leaders in that too. Same character basically from Invader Zim. Same two characters. But anyways, the best part about news radio is when he would ever there was an episode where they finally figured out he was Canadian and he wouldn't admit it because he was so afraid that they would think he was a Canadian spy. But the best episode of news radio is when he dressed up as a woman for Halloween and his girlfriend got so mad at him because Dave Foley always made a gorgeous woman whenever he was on Kids in the Hall. He played this French Canadian prostitute that was perfection. And so she got so mad and he was like, why are you mad? And she's like, you look better in my clothes than I do. And then all of us were like, yeah, Kids in the Hall drag, Kids in the Hall drag.
That's awesome.
Let me know when you're done with that drawing.
I love the light work. That is cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's always fun having you on the show and your whimsy in your art.
Oh, you're very kind.
Well, okay. I'm gonna praise you for a second. Your design work in all of the stuff that you make, do you also have to design how that stuff opens?
Yeah.
You're like a super being.
Well,
You're a monster.
it depends because in animation you want to they may need you to do multi-stages of something so that they know how you expect it to actually perform in animated situations and stuff. My first thing I did in animation, it was really tough for me because I wasn't a specialist in cars or anything, was I had to do a minivan that then got exploded by a ghost whaler guy with a magical spear, and he blew this thing up. So I had to design the minivan, and then I had to explode the minivan like a Jiffy Pop popcorn kind of thing or something.
Yeah.
And I wasn't real good at drawing cars, but I'm like, well, if they're paying me, I'm going to learn how to do it. So.
And so, like, I imagine that involved a lot of research on how cars were put together.
Yep, and that's back before we had the internet. So you had to like go find some magazines and go on the street and do some photographs.
The old days. The old days.
Back in the 90s.
Okay, seriously, you guys know I work with like 16 to 20-year-olds. They're like little babies. And I was talking about something, I forget what I was talking about, and the girl at the jail, she's just like, how do you know so much? And I'm like, well, I am almost 50, so I've lived like 30 years longer than you. But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, no, and it took me like, you're working, you're bored, you're thinking about stuff. So I went back to her, I'm like, the other thing is, though, I grew up with no internet. That was back when I had to memorize shit if I wanted to know shit, or go to the library, which wasn't always so accessible. So, you know what I mean? The olden days when we had to just know it.
Yeah.
You had to actually do some work.
Well, I
just wait till people are all AI'd up and they're just like, how do you know a thing? Did you chat GPT? Like, shut the fuck up. Don't even say that shit.
When I was a children's entertainer, I used to have to print out MapQuest directions or use a Thomas guide to find where I was going. And so because MapQuest was brand new, not everybody was in MapQuest. So if I typed it into MapQuest and they weren't there, that's when I had to use the Thomas guide. And so I still know how to read like a Thomas guide, how to read a map. Hello, Sharky.
My friend, look what my friend made for me. These are 3D printed ghost cats that glow in the dark. They're so awesome. Can you see? Like they're inside. You can there. Yes, there. My finger is creating that. I guess they're like puppets. They could be ghost cat puppets. But they glow because I have them on my glow shelf right now, and they're the brightest things on there. I don't know if it's the 3D filament or what, but like they're awesome.
Aww. Rob says, Robin, if I ever get to visit you in person, I would love to hug.
Of course. I'm a hugger.
Okay. And then what we said that the Disney lawyers are behind him, or no, Canadian lawyers.
Yes.
Right? They're Canadian. So what would Canadian lawyers look like? Would they be beavers?
We already did beavers, remember?
Yeah, we already did beavers.
Hey Rob, I just thought of something. You wanted to get a Canadian t-shirt. You know what the coolest t-shirt would be? Is if you got the CBC logo. That would be like super cool. And that's like our NPR, right?
Seems to be.
No,
even feature your
just be Maple
late night
Leaf?
on NPR.
Yeah, but Maple Leaf's so generic. Like, do the CBC logo. It's like a Canadian leaf, and then it's got this weird sort of like, I don't know. I like this. Or, actually, it would actually also be a really cool one is if you did the National Film Board of Canada. That would be a cool logo, too. Like, do something that's, like, more alternative than just, like, a maple leaf. I don't know. There's so many cool Canadian things you can do. Like, you know what?
I love the National Film Board of Canada logo. Yes.
There's a t-shirt company that focuses solely on like Canadian TV shows, like retro Canadian TV shows. And one of the shows that's really cool is the Edison twins. They were like these two twins that would solve mysteries, but they were like super smart kids. So I bet they have like an Edison twins t-shirt. That would be really cool too. Because I think that would be up your alley, Rob. And the Littlest Hobo. That's what you should get. Have you ever heard of the Littlest Hobo? We used to have like a TV show called Littlest Hobo in the 80s. It was like this German Shepherd that would travel across Canada and like help people and solve mysteries. And it was live action. It was hilarious. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. All the episodes are on YouTube. But you could get a Littlest Hobo t-shirt, and that would be really cool because you love dogs, right? He's a German Shepherd. Anyways, lots of cool Canadian shows.
So these guys are gonna have little little ties, so you know they're lawyers.
Well, so what did we decide on?
We decided on
Oh, the film logo. Oh,
Canada.
Nice. Yeah, with the big eyes.
Yeah, they don't even need arms. I love it.
So I'll tell you something even cooler about the National Film Board of Canada. They had in Montreal, they had like an archive area where they had a whole bunch of their like documentaries that you could take out, but you could not go in and just take the video, like the DVD or anything. They had a robot arm.
Yeah.
They had a robot arm that would take it for you and bring it to you. It was like a big, huge robot arm. Take the video out and then hand it to you.
Nice.
But yeah.
So you
Montreal, I highly recommend visiting Montreal, especially in the summer. One of the best places in Canada ever.
I'm making a slew of these guys because they're fun to draw.
Yeah. Plus, they're kind of like Big Brother, eh? With their big eye.
Yeah. But I also heard that the Film Board of Canada makes you like you have to like watch a movie before you can vote on it. Like that's one of their rules before the Academy ever like took it on. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I mean, we are pretty stringent about insisting on like Canadian content and stuff and watching and putting it on things. You know, like if we have that radio law where you have to have it, like I think it's like it was 30% had to be Canadian content when you did radio, when you do radio in Canada. Before I was leaving, like just as I was leaving radio, they were starting to do this thing called FemCon, where they were insisting on a certain percentage of female Canadian artists being played.
Let's see if I can do him justice. I can do this actor justice.
Scott Thompson. Oh, you know, one of his greatest impressions is he did the Queen so well. He was really good at doing the Queen of England. So if you just think of the Queen of England, maybe you'll capture his like. Yeah, Scott's so funny. I mean, case in point, he was on the Gary Shandling show. It's not like they accepted crappy people on that show.
Yeah. Let's see. So you know it's his lower lip his lower teeth we're looking at here.
Hey Rob, what kind of shows are you talking about? Like the Raccoon or what are some other old shows? Sadly, Caillou is a Canadian export. I know everybody hates Caillou.
He has issues. He's a bit of a whiner.
He is a bit of a whiner, that's true.
As a parent who had his kid watch a fair amount of Caillou, I'd be like, man, Caillou's parents need to tell that kid to shut the fuck up. Or tell him to figure it out. Something.
Let's see. I'll try.
You guys have a band that I wish I could go see. They're like a weird kitschy band called the Cybertronic Spree. And they're a Transformers tribute band.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I think I've heard of them, but I didn't realize they were Canadian.
I think they're Canadian. Cool. I think they are.
Yeah, because they've played a bunch of our conventions in Toronto, so I'll just assume Morrow people. I don't know that one.
That song that was pretty good, but they're pretty great.
And they totally dress up in Transformer gear.
Totally.
Yeah, if I still had my radio show, I'd play that the music a lot. Oh, for sure. Yeah, Rob's saying there was a lot of shows in the early aughts that were done in Vancouver. There were so many. Like Battlestar Galactica. There's like a million of them that were being filmed in Vancouver at the time. Really famous to do like get comics for research. I have a small list of people that had come into the store. They didn't call it Hollywood North for nothing.
That's
So-
A
true.
friend of mine was in Romeo Must Die, where they pretended Vancouver was Los Angeles.
What
Well, they do that for a
happened
lot of
then that it changed? That
It's still Vancouver North. It's just that I think the exchange rate was such that it wasn't worth their time to it wasn't monetarily sound to keep coming up, but they still film a lot there. And honestly, a lot of times they're filming in Montreal now. Like what we do in the Shadows is entirely filmed in Montreal. And I always forget when I'm watching it.
The animation work is up there too.
Yeah, in Montreal and in Vancouver both. There's quite a few animation studios, but also video game studios in Montreal and in Vancouver.
See,
My friend Robin, his wife, she's worked on so much stuff. Like she's worked on he did a whole bunch of character designs for the Friendship is Magic My Little Pony series, and even the movie that came out. She did like the pirate bird. She did some of the bad guys like Queen Chrysalis. She worked on not King of the Hill. What was that show called? Mission Hill. She worked on Mission Hill. She's done like tons of stuff, and yeah, there's just so many studios that you get a lot of work out there if you want it. But animation is a hard gig. You gotta be willing to give up the hours.
In Canada just to keep getting some work. I tell you,
Mhm.
I'll wear Maple Leaf in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, you got to be willing to give up your hours. Like she's paid her dues. She's been doing the animation for 20, 25 years now, more. But still, it's like hours and hours. It's not a 9-to-5 job.
Oh, dude, you're talking.
You're talking to the.
I've been doing this since
guy.
1997.
Yeah. I'm not trying to explain it to you guys. I'm just saying, like, it's a tough gig.
Thomas, no color.
Dang it!
It's black and white. Sorry.
Pow!
Sorry. Didn't mean to break your hard work there.
Oh, that was easy.
Can we add shades of gray though? We could turn that blue into a lighter gray.
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. He says there's a Vancouver look that got him to experience with lighting and composition. Yeah, like I remember the sole reason I used to watch X-Files before I moved to Vancouver was just to see what Vancouver looked like, because we were living in Northern Ontario at the time. And I remember I watched the second Twilight movie and I hated the whole thing. But there's one scene where they're at the Ridge, which is like this repertoire theater that I went to when I first moved to Vancouver. It was like an epiphany, or I don't know, it was heaven sent. I never got to see this kind of movies when I lived in Sault Ste. Marie, and I would go and I'd be there for like 6 hours watching as many movies as I could, and it's gone now, but like it's still in that Twilight movie, and I was just like almost crying. I was like, oh, the Ridge, oh, so I think it's awesome to be able to see Vancouver and that kind of stuff. And usually I recognize it. I'm pretty good about recognizing it. That's why I'm so surprised about what we do in the Shadows. Like, because I was in Montreal for 8 years and I always forget that they're filming that there. And because I don't recognize it.
I will say it's funny when you're in an area where they make stuff and then you see it on the screen, because I was visiting my brother in Northern California once, and we went to go see that movie Speed.
Okay,
and, a bunch of that was filmed all around areas that I was very familiar with. I'm like, oh, dude, when he turns that corner, he goes onto this street? Yeah, that's between the one side of the corner and the other. It's like 30 miles from each other. It's like a time jumper bus.
Yeah.
The way they cut the shot is like, then they stop here and then they drive over there. So
The
it's always
Fast
funny
and
when
the
you see
good
Furious.
editing.
The Fast and the Furious was recorded in Hemet and Menifee, just kind of just kind of southeast of Los Angeles, right? And very close to where I grew up and where Ian grew up. And so Donna Magoni Drive? Yeah, Donna Magoni Drive is this really windy road with like a hill next to it. And so the first Fast and the Furious movie like has their main, final scene there, right? And so they drive by that hill so many times to try and make this road look super long, and like this road's not very long.
There's a road like that in Long Beach down here.
Yeah.
If you ever watched I think it's the movie's Clueless,
Yeah.
and there's this scene where they're having some kind of difficulty. They're on the freeway and they're freaking out because they've never been on the freeway before or something. And that's this little area down in Long Beach that they've since changed it a lot. But I used to drive past there all the time, and it's like going down to downtown Long Beach. You're like, oh, it's this really mellow little thing, but they tried to make it look like it was a stressful freeway. I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, there.
The magic of acting.
I was watching an old 1970s Columbo episode the other day, and they were in Big Bear. Even though it was supposed to be somewhere near San Diego, a lake near San Diego, is Big Bear. I could tell because I used to live there, and they were in Boulder Bay, and they were making circles around Boulder Bay as they're in this scene, driving around the lake. And it's like, oh, there goes Boulder Bay again.
It's right there. I see it.
Yeah, exactly. And so let's see, let's do this. Let's put the shoulder in front so it looks a little. Wait, no, that doesn't look good with the shoulder in front. We'll have the head.
Is Olive supposed to always be popping out, or of
Oh my God! What if Olive popped out of that olive on top of the sandwich?
Well, has she infected the sandwich yet? I don't know.
Well, the sandwiches. This is just a metaphorical sandwich. It's a verbal sandwich.
It's just
versus a real sandwich.
I think about Kids in the Hall almost every day at my other job because we sell sausages. And it was interesting because I was reading an article with them recently, and one of the reasons why they sort of stopped doing the TV show was because Bruce wanted to make like these more sort of absurd films, like short vignette films that weren't like hilarious comedy bits, right? And he did this insane one where it was like this man who worked in a sausage factory, and his mother, who was Scott Thompson, would be constantly yelling for sausages. Just like, and so, but it was also about how he was like falling in love with one of the girls at the sausage factory, and the sausage factory was like really dark and dreary, like a Werner Herzog movie. Like it was just insane. And so, yeah, whenever I'm working, I'm always like in my head, I'm like thinking Kids in the Hall.
Well, they actually did make a bit out of that at one point on Kids in the Hall, and it's funny because you said sausages at one point, and that immediately jumped to mind for me. I'm like, going, oh yeah, I remember they did a bit like that. Good times. They did a lot of good stuff.
You guys had an American group that was comparable though, and I didn't discover them until about 10 or 12 years ago. The Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're pretty funny. They are very funny. And I got to tell you, unfortunately, one of them has passed away not too long ago. But he did I play this video so often. He did this video called "Getting High with Dinosaurs," and it's such a great song. And oh man, the first time I smoked a joint when I was in China, because I'd gone without for like 2 months, I was like, I blared that song. I was like so happy. And it's such a great song. I smoke a blunt tonight. I smoke a blunt tonight. Me and all the dinosaurs are getting high tonight. We're getting ripped tonight. And it's a really good song. Like the rhymes and the rap are wicked. He's really good, that guy, Trevor Moore. But they're funny. You should look up some skits because almost everything they've done is really good. The Whitest Kids You Know.
Let me know when you're ready for the next panel.
I'm good to go.
Okay, then you are ready for. Oh, actually, we're actually at time. So I'm.
Holy
just
cow, that was fast.
Yeah, I'm just drawn. We're just hanging out at this point. Yeah, I'm taking a long time on this panel, I guess.
I guess I had enough caffeine today.
Yay!
There you go. There you go.
Because I did not get sleepy.
Yay! Yes, I am. I guess I'm doing this. But yeah, you're welcome to hang out and talk with us. You don't have to draw. You are.
Well, I would love to, but I have to go draw for the main animation gig now. So
I
The real deal.
you have a day job that is freaking awesome, and I will let you go do it because it is freaking awesome. And
Well, hey,
I want to
really
see
am
what you make.
grateful to get a chance to come play again. I had fun doing Venomized Philo for you guys and hearing about various and sundry
Oh,
things of
scary mouth.
Canadian goodness.
Yes. I will. I will bow you out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the future. And then let me get rid of Venom Philo on screen, and I'm just I'm gonna run a little long tonight, just to finish this panel, and we're just gonna kind of hang out.
Yeah, I like the film board logos.
Yeah.
They look great.
Yeah, I just want to finish what we're doing because I like these guys. This is a good place to stop. With him coming in, and yeah.
Oh my god, my nephew the other day, like 2 days ago, had a tantrum that lasted all day, and then it lasted finally his mother had to go do something, so I looked after him for a couple hours, and he screamed and cried for like an hour. Finally, I just took him outside, and I'm like, all right, scream and cry outside. And he started like stomping his feet on the cold concrete, and he was like, oh, I don't like this. And he finally settled down, but he was so exhausted, but he wouldn't sleep.
Yeah. How old is he, too?
He's almost 4.
Oh.
But I feel like he's in his terrible 2s now.
Annabelle is sometimes she, she's what in the olden days they'd call spirited. And so we do what we can, and we're trying to get her to not bite other kids. We're trying to get her to not hit other kids.
Yeah.
Have empathy for other children. And,
I remember one time at daycare, this little 2-year-old kid, Ivan, he kicked over one of these other little 2-year-old girls, Holly, literally kicked her over. And I was like, Ivan, how did you do that? And he was like, that's why. He was like, it's not an answer. He was like, that's why.
Yeah, he kicked her over.
Trying to get little 2-year-olds to understand logic. Not so easy.
Yeah, it's like, okay, but, to knock her over is not good, okay?
So,
people don't want to hang out with people who knock other people over.
Exactly.
That's what I have to tell my daughter. And hopefully one day she will listen. And, I don't know, I'm trying.
Well, she'll learn it on her own if she doesn't learn it from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, because some
that's
kids
the part of school. That's why they're in school, to learn that stuff.
Yeah.
And he's not in school, so he's got I think he's just he's a little delayed in his emotional maturity is all, and that's why I think he's going through the 2s now. Mm-hmm. Plus his dad's not around, it's a big change, and then plus he's got a baby brother, so that's another big change, so it's hard.
Yeah, it's changes like that, kids act out because they don't understand. And they want attention, especially if with the new kid, with the new little baby brother and stuff, he's not getting the attention he was before.
Yeah, and then dad's gone, so that's also more attention missing.
Yeah.
My brother is not gone. He's just working. He's training his new job at the train. He's working for the Canadian Railway right now, and the expectations are really high. When you get tested, you have to have 95 to 100%. They're really strict about stuff because they don't want any accidents, right? Those kind of things are massive tragedies when trains crash. He had to go through this whole testing series so he could prove that he has no sleep problems, so that when they send him home, he's always well rested.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yes, I understand your plays well with other Vibe, as you and I have played well together. And I will be the first one to say that you play well with others. Dang it. I had this photo and then I cleared my screen to get a bear costume. And then, or was it the bear paw that I got? Yes, there it is. There's the photo. Okay. That way I can finish because I realized I did not finish drawing him in here. So we need to finish drawing him in here. So he has like a back of his head. Because he's like right there. Yeah. There we go. Okay. And we'll do this. Yeah, I'm taking a little long on this one. One my first commandment of Philo is thou shalt draw fast. And
well, you're trying to draw somebody from real life that you're not super familiar with.
Yeah, I know, but what I was going to say is that Thomas is so talented. He's such an awesome artist, but he's a little slower than I usually draw on the show. And so in order to kind of be at his speed, I slowed down today. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I was putting in more detail than I usually put in. And
well, that's cool. The bear costume looks excellent.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you know, we got him in a bear costume. You know, I think it looks very berry. Myself, I'm especially proud of the hands, of the paws.
I like the head. The maw of the bear.
Oh. Yeah. And then let's do this. Let's give these guys some depth so they don't look so flat. And then yeah, we'll do this. And then we'll give the sandwich some depth. We'll give it a little shadow. Give the plate some depth. And this is just the first layer. And then these guys back here are just literally going to be these like white eyes glowing.
Ooh.
Yeah. As soon as I saw the film board logo, I was like, we need to have those. Those are the lawyers. Those are the lawyers right there. And then
so we usually call them by the abbreviation. We call them the NFB.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Here, let me do a transitionary gray first. Yeah, there's good. That's a good transition gray. Before I just jump right into white. We'll have that. Yeah. So have you read any cool comic books lately?
Just the ones I was talking about earlier.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I didn't know if there was... Well, yeah, because you were talking about Mac earlier and stuff. I didn't know if there was anything else that you'd picked up.
No, just those two.
Yeah, I am waiting for a copy of Deathblow. And I know Deathblow is an Image book, and it's Brandon Chow, and it's not like exactly the most the deepest storytelling in the world and stuff. But the reason why I picked it up is because it was Jim Lee inspired by the art of Sin City and inking himself, which at the time he did not do. Scott Williams was exclusively his inker. And it's this high contrast artwork I've never seen from Jim Lee since. And I love it. it's like every time I've seen the artwork from Deathblow, I've been impressed by it, and so I decided to treat myself and get it. And so I picked up the first volume. If I like the story, I'll pick up more volumes. Otherwise, I'll just hold on to the first volume so that I have some of the example of the work. Jim Lee was always like one of my favorites growing up, and I always liked. I know, again, Image. She's not like an independent. He's doing Shakespeare.
If you want to be technical, he is an independent artist, because that's the whole point of Image, is that they wanted to be independent from the big two.
Yeah, and with the loss of Peter David, like, I know he was. I know that he was offered a chance to leave with them for Image, and then didn't take it. He stayed with Marvel. And I'm wondering, like, in an alternate timeline, what that would have been like had he left.
Nobody really went with them that wasn't an artist.
No, there's a couple writers that went with them. Like Brandon Chow had a couple of stories published for Marvel, but he was really low on the totem pole, and they saw his talent and were like, hey, come on with us. And that's when he ended up like working with them and stuff. So it's like they had a couple of other people besides just inkers and artists and colorists that went with them. They also pulled some office people. They pulled some distribution people, some sales people. It was more than just an artist talent pull. It was like a business talent pull.
I was talking about the main guys.
Oh. I've been wearing a hoodie to work. Oh, it's got an emblem of the Ukrainian military that is hidden when unzipped, but occasionally peeks out. We have several Russian Ukrainian folk, and one has a Ukrainian flag. I could write an entire story here because you're ignoring me. I'm not ignoring you. I actually I can hear you. I was just talking about something else. I'm not trying to ignore you, Rob. I'm not. But I am done with my panel.
That's pretty exciting that you've got a Ukrainian hoodie after what just happened last couple days.
Yeah.
They've been planning that for 1.5 years. That's insane. They kept it a secret for so long.
There's a meme I posted that was a cat with Ukrainian colors with a Russian plane in its mouth. Just kind of looking very like, look what the cat just caught. So yes, we will stop there. We are way over time by 20 minutes, but that's not too bad. Thank you, Miss Robin, for joining us and being great. How far have you gotten on your thing?
Oh, I'm just on a new one.
Oh yeah, you started a new one. Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
another time.
Yay!
I got loads. I really should start making them, so now I have bunnies because I have so many of these little things. But
yeah,
it's just easy enough to knit while I'm talking.
I ordered it the day that Trump/Vance putting him in his place. In other words, like, yeah, good order. We will see you guys in the future. Goodbye, Miss Robin. I will shut off the screen, and then I will say goodbye to chat. Next week we have I know who it is. I swear I know who it is. Where's Ren? Where's Ren? She's on my list. We have Ren Shivington, and Ren's friend and compatriot, and what they call it, partner, which is Kateri Levine McMullen next week. And so it's going to be a dual artist on one screen, me on the other screen kind of thing. Kateri's going to be doing the drawing. We're going to be interviewing Ren about their PhD program in comics and art, and about their like experience talking about disability through comics, and explaining about like invisible disability through comics, and being able to use that visible medium to explain it and stuff. So it's going to be a cool show. We will see you guys in the future. I want to have a shout out to my proud member web creative community there. Check them out. There's a Discord. We're very active. It's very cool. And then this is produced by me, Amber Greenlee, panelpanel.com. Captain T, check that out. Patreon.com, twitch.tv. YouTube, you might be watching it on. If you are on Twitch, we are going to be raiding someone right now. So I will raid in a moment. Let's see who's on. Who's on that I follow? Who's doing art? Honey Crow is doing art. So we will raid Honey Crow. And if you guys don't want to raid, you don't have to. I will see you in the future. Have a good one. Bye.